I am Hunter Lovins. I am president of Natural Capitalism Solutions. I am here attending the annual general meeting of the Club of Rome, for whom I serve on the executive committee. Being creative, creating new business models, solving problems. We love to solve problems. Sudoku or Pokemon Go. People are walking off bridges chasing these little imaginary creatures because we're curious and we love to solve puzzles. So let's solve the biggest puzzle of all. Let's fix the world. And let's build the world we all want to live in. So a group of us from the Club of Rome, from organizations around the world, are meeting to build this new narrative, a shared story of the world that we want to live in. What's the future we want to create? Not what are we afraid of, what do we want to create? How do we deal with the climate crisis, which is upon us? Where I live in Colorado, temperatures have been 25, 26 in November. This is not right. We know how to stop further damage to the climate through renewable energy, which Germany is one of the world's leading countries in. And we know how to roll it backwards by using land in the way that, for example, grazing animals co-evolved with grasslands. Prehistorically, in early history, big herds of grazing animals were everywhere that there were grasslands. The grasslands co-evolved with grazing animals, dense packed by predators. If there's a lion or a wolf trying to eat you, the safe place to be is in the middle of the herd. So everybody's trying to get into the middle. They eat everything, their hooves chop up the soil, they fertilize it, and then they move on. When you eat grass, grass sloughs sugars, polysaccharides, that feed the biological community in the soil. That biological community is taking the waste and turning it into carbon in the soil. So we can mimic that. It's called biomimicry, or holistic management, or regenerative agriculture. And when you do that, the carbon in the air gets taken up by the grass, which per weight has 40 times the carbon of, say, a tree. Everybody says, oh, solve the climate, plant a tree. The tree is all above ground. The grass is mostly below ground in the roots. And the roots are feeding the healthy biological community. Where this is being done, farmers, ranchers have taken their soil from, say, 1% soil organic matter, carbon, to 11% in like 10 years. This is decarbonizing. We're sucking carbon out of the air, putting it back where it belongs in the soil. If we did this, if we increased soil carbon 1%, across the world's grasslands, we would go back over a 30-year time frame to 280 parts per million, pre-industrial levels. Oh, and when you practice regenerative agriculture, you're growing things organically. They taste better. They're better for you. The animals are happier. You're not putting them in feedlots and feeding them things they were never designed to eat, like corn. You're letting them be animals the way they always had been. So farmers like Gabe Brown, who was a corn, soybean, conventional farmer in North Dakota in the United States, started practicing this. First, he stopped plowing the soil, breaking it up, which releases the carbon. Then he planted cover crops, 26, 28, 30 different kinds of plants that all help each other. Then he turned cattle out on it. Cattle ate the cover crops, so he doesn't have to grow hay, haul it in, feed it to them. They just eat the cover crops. He has no fertilizer, no pesticide, no herbicide, almost no machinery. He is wildly more profitable, and he has increased soil organic matter up to 11% on some of his land. This is the way that we begin to solve the climate crisis. And when you do this across all different kinds of entrepreneurs, whether it be taking seawater and allowing it to condense and creating fresh water and growing tomatoes, as Gunter Pauli is doing. Whether it be entrepreneurs like Mohammed Yunus, who just spoke to us, saying, I'm not a banker to the poor, I'm simply helping people in the village. And you get a 98% repayment rate. That will beat Deutsche Bank any day of the year. He said, if I'm a banker to the poor, they're a banker to the rich. So he is unleashing the entrepreneur with inside people in the villages. Because all of us are born creative, curious. We want to invent things. If we unleash this entrepreneurialism, we solve all the problems in the world.